Hello, and welcome back. Northstar here with another Plague Inc. Let's Play. I don't know if this series is going to take off. I haven't checked today, at least, to see how the views are going. And sometimes series take off and sometimes they don't. I have checked the player totals this gaming before I attempted the Let's Play series to see it's better than some of the other series that do better. So there are people who play this game. Of course, it's been out so long. Uh, Maybe they're not watching Let's Plays. Who knows? Um, I guess this gives me a chance to talk about something really quick. Um, Although I should do another official scenario. I did check, by the way, stuff no one really knows what determines the number of biohazards, except that shorter time, lower cure progress. So I should have done that genetic reshuffle, spent the points on that before. And some people have reported that if they had unlocked more symptoms. I thought fewer symptoms would be better for score, but apparently it's the other way around. I should definitely buy symptoms, and symptoms are good. So is let's do fungus here. Um, so is doing whatever you can to slow cure progress. So I'm doing some of this stuff. Let me talk about something for a second. I mentioned I studied viruses. I actually went to graduate school not intending to study viruses, but to study stem cells. And I started in stem cell lab, then I ran out of money and shut down. Not my fault. For anyone who knows anything about graduate school and research knows it's not the graduate students who apply for funding or have hardly any real impact on whether a lab gets funding. It's up to the professors. And indeed, this lab was in dire financial straits already, and I guess it could be said I did an experiment. It showed that there was not any interesting uh, interesting outcome. Something specifically is a null result, which sometimes you get. It just means the thing you thought, the hypothesis, is proven false. And the professor didn't really want to believe that because the lab was in desperate straits and had me repeat the experiment, got a null result again. Then she repeated the experiment herself because she still didn't want to believe it, and she got a null result herself, and then she was forced to accept it. So maybe if I had been more charismatic, more persuasive in making my case, and she had not had done the experiment 3 times, maybe she would have gone to doing other things and gotten funding. But she was also just back. All right, yeah, and I'm not going to talk more about this person. It would be too identifiable, unique story, but personal life reasons why this professor had been on leave came back, and it was difficult. And also, discrimination against females in biology. Uh, but the lab ran out of money, so I ended up working in virus lab because I needed another lab quick, or I'd be out of the program because you have to have research lab in a graduate research program. So I studied viruses, yeah. And the reason I mention this, not just some narcissist talk about my own life or some bullshit, is it is. Oh, actually, Aquasite, because I really need to reach Greenland. That's almost always the thing that slows me down. Humid climates like England. I really just need this thing to reach. Although, actually, fungi can ignore. They have a bloom ability. Still, spread by sea, it reaches a lot of places, so this is fine. And that ability does cost points. There's also a point multiplier for difficulty, but I'm pretty sure it's fully possible on casual to get 3 biohazards. Could start somewhere else other than the UK. This is a mirror world. Oh, mirror world. So yeah, what am I thinking? Well, Egypt is humid in this version and cold and rich. So Egypt. But anyways, before I get any further and start this, so COVID. I'm sure it's on some people's mind if I'm playing this game. In fact, there is the cure mode in this game, which is heavily based on COVID to the point where masks are like one of the huge things, even though some viruses are not spread at all airborne, so masks are relevant for some viruses or almost irrelevant, like blood spatter can still happen, but a surgical mask isn't going to provide much protection. You really want there is a face shield, which like these plastic shields, like, you know, HIV masks, you're not really much protection. It's unless someone's like bloody cough and blood in their cough. So the point being, anyways, COVID happened, and it was a stress test for our society in many ways. It was a test of how can our world of neoliberal capitalism all around the world, because that is the system, the ideology that ate the world, neoliberalism. There's even articles written with that exact title. I think one in The Nation or The New Yorker or something. I'm an American, so those are kind of, you know, I don't know what's been said in like France and stuff, but neoliberalism, the ideology that ate the world. This is a system of most of the planet. Neoliberal capitalism, liberal democracy, neoliberalism, which is deregulation stuff. How can it handle a major crisis worldwide? Something like the Spanish flu again, COVID. We failed miserably. Terrible handling. Millions of people died who didn't need to die. There were all sorts of concerning things about even just beyond the death toll. It was handled horrendously. I and a lot of other people ended up disabled after, and that's also been ignored. So society's shown they're willing to mishandle an acute crisis, ignore the long-term consequences, like 144 million people disabled long COVID. Yes, that's the number now. 65 million is an earlier estimate. Partly it was an underestimate, but partly the number has gone up because more people are getting long COVID as more people get infected with COVID because it's still going around. We failed miserably. So climate change is happening. There's going to be all sorts of catastrophes with that. Mass migrations out of sub-Saharan Africa here, these things. How are we going to handle that? Probably very poorly. How are we going to handle AI that could potentially put hundreds of millions out of work? Probably very poorly. Now, it's possible, it's possible the governments could do things like provide a lot of welfare aid to people who are unemployed by AI and help them retrain in other jobs. I'm not saying all the jobs are going to disappear, but there's going to be insanely large numbers of people who are suddenly going to have to learn new skills. And this is going to be a huge disruption. Our society is not going to handle it well. That's my point. Why is this relevant? Well, it impacts whether people what they should think about the future. Let's get this going. So I'm not just sitting or talking at you. Used to cold temperatures because Egypt is cold in this mirror world. It kind of throws you off because you get used to certain areas being certain ways. So I suspect I'll do more poorly in this. So anyways. Excuse me. Coughing, sneezing works. Rash gives a little infectivity though, and sweating and skin lesions. That's sneezing or skin lesions are two major ways of spreading something through symptoms early. And I'm going to be much more aggressive here because even though this is going to lead to the cure progress starting earlier, apparently the clock is ticking if I want to get 3 biohazards, which I do. Because there's achievements for a lot of those. Pretty sure Mirror World has one. So it's number of game days. It's not like I could pause forever and it's not going to affect the score, I don't think. 10 points. Rushing skin lesions, which is a good tactic a lot of time. Anyways, so I'm disabled with long COVID. For those of you who didn't catch me saying it before, I think last video. New to this channel. I'm too sick to work. It sucks. The government's also screwing me out of SSDI because work I did in graduate school for the university for pay mind you, not free work. We're not taking all the free research work I did, but some of the paid work I did would have made me eligible, but apparently those jobs are exempt for payroll taxes and therefore didn't count towards disability, even though it's not like I chose to have not pay payroll taxes. And the same type of work was a TA. Pylons, what? Whatever. Some nonsense about pylons. Do drug resistance because it'll help with genetic hardening later. So, something about a new aircraft carrier. So, yeah, well, Brazil spending on that instead of health care probably impacts the game a little bit. Brazil will probably respond a little worse to this pandemic that's about to erupt here. Oh yeah, spore bursts. You can infect specific countries. You get 2 lines of them, so you don't have to rely too much on symptoms, or, you know, at all. Let's see. Egypt is a cold country in this version, so I'm probably going to want heat resistance before long. But I think I like water transmission, because it does have 2 ports still. Cool. Protest against GM crops, which probably anti-science stuff. I mean, there are legitimate concerns about genetically modified crops, but they're not that they're genetically modified. The concerns are that sometimes they're used to make crops pesticide resistant, and then overuse of pesticides, which causes all kinds of environmental consequences, pollutes water supplies, and sometimes companies like Monsanto falsify data on pesticides and are not as safe as they claim to be. Getting away from the whole Roundup thing, I've done a video on that. The science is pretty clear that particular thing is more dangerous than Monsanto claim. Let's go to a more well-known, or should be more well-known, a black and white example of a company lying about a pesticide. Nemagon. That was a pesticide that was used to eliminate nematodes that affected banana crops back in the 70s, I think it was. Nemagon caused horrible health consequences, including permanent lifelong sterility. Okay? This is any investigation. Look this up if you're curious. This is a proven fact. It was banned in the United States because of this. Even though it had made it through testing and had already been released, it was banned later after this became obvious. Turns out the companies that made it, Shell, as in the oil company Shell, they also made pesticides at the time, and I forget what the other one, but the companies had falsified data to get it through the initial safety testing. So this is verified fact. None of this is conjecture. This is proven known. All right, then they went and they started continuing to sell these crops, specifically the Dole Fruit Company, you know, Dole bananas, got an exemption to continue using this crop in Central America, so south of Mexico, actually here, Costa Rican countries like that, despite it being banned for sale in the United States, supposedly just to sell off existing stockpiles, but very quickly they ended up getting workarounds to continue manufacturing the drug for use outside the United States only. This ruined the health of huge numbers of people in Central America, and the company to this day tries to deny that any of these health consequences to do with the crop, claiming, oh, well, the exposure isn't high enough for agriculture workers, only for people who work manufacturing the pesticide, but that's nonsense. The safe exposure levels of this drug were very, very low. The agriculture workers almost certainly got exposed to enough to cause these same consequences, and the fact that huge numbers of them were suddenly sterile, that's not a coincidence. Anyways, right? So, Nemagon, pesticide, very unsafe, falsified data. This is all well-known fact at this point. Why do I mention this? You can make pesticides like Roundup Ready crops. I'm sick of these tutorial things. Let's see if turning off extra pop-ups helps. I've played this game enough, I don't need them. Time to evolve necrosis. This is gonna start killing people en masse. Countries have shut their borders, but I can do fungal spore stuff as a fungus. trying to, speed run this, and I already made it throughout the US. Well, actually, that's less important because in this world, it's poor instead of rich. I'm gonna need genetic hardening soon to slow cure research. Already started killing. Which is gonna lead to a lot more cure research very soon. As the death toll mounts. Right, so stuff like Roundup Ready crops will has more use of Roundup, for instance. The point being, genetically modified crops can allow higher use of pesticides, and not all of which may be safe. Regardless of whether or not Roundup is safe, there are other pesticides in the world, and there will be other pesticide-ready crops. I mean, that's specifically an herbicide, not a pesticide, Roundup, but you get my point. But genetic modification itself is safe. It's not like snipping DNA innately makes something dangerous. It's that we live in a corporate world where things run rampant. Anyways, I got sidetracked by a news pop-up here in the game. Right. I actually need heat resistance before I start messing with these spore things soon. I'm not seeing that many countries shut their borders yet. Just a little research funding, not even that much. Germany leading global cure. Aren't they poor in this version? Yeah. Mirror world. Let's grab sneezing for infectivity. Without too much severity. I already got some. I don't need to up cure research even more. Now I mean, I've already made spore burst stuff cost 4. Just waiting to see where countries close their borders, because that's the ones I'm gonna probably holdout islands I'm gonna have to spread. Enough. Got Japan through a spore burst. It's random, isn't it? That's right. So I'm gonna want to wait to infect what I can. But Japan was probably not gonna be infected. And it's dense enough. If it gets infected early, it might spread to the Southeast Asia area. So that was good luck. That's a huge increase in... Take fever. It's a little bit of lethality on some activity. Time for more... Alright, hemorrhagic shock. Huge increase in lethality. That's like what Ebola does. Hemorrhagic shock. Uninfected countries. Still some of the islands. What are the traits? I took suppression, right? Oh, aquasite, metabolic jump, genetic mimic, hydrophile. No, so spraying across land borders is not going to be the easiest. This is often where you do birds to try and spread across land borders. I'm using spore bursts. Went to Australia. Seems to prioritize islands. Let's do another one. I don't have much time. There we go. New Zealand. Another still. That was... I don't know which one that was, but anyways. Just keep doing these darn spore bursts. Until there are no more places left to do them. Spore explosion. still haven't reached New Zealand, so I'm just gonna have to keep doing spore bursts until I get there. I mean, did I say New Zealand? Greenland, Which in this world has massive research capabilities, so. Alright. Still need Indonesia. Cold urban world in this reality. This might not have gone according to plan. I don't think I'm going to reach every country, therefore this was a fail. Just Italy left. Huh, okay. Italy's mirrored. They're poor and rural. So livestock or birds? Let's do birds. They tend to be a little more expensive. Should have done that earlier. Spore bursts turned out to be way more expensive than I thought they would. Anyways. So, I'm disabled with long COVID. I tried, been trying nonetheless to do what I can to have a social life, to date, among other things. Not easy. Not many people want to date a disabled person. Sometimes it's just bias against disabled. Every country is infected. Now it's just cool. Internal hemorrhaging. Huge increase in lethality. Nuclear explosion in Afghanistan. More edema. More infectivity. The higher you get your severity, the more it's supposed to add to your score, some people claimed. Diarrhea, infectivity, severity. I do need the infectivity. There's still uninfected people, and risk of some countries that were infected late having people die off quicker than they. Dysentery, big increase in severity, lethality. We'll do that. So, immune suppressant mutated. This country with many healthy people is urban, hot and arid. Let's see. Urban. Rats. Rats. Rodents and air. Arid. That'll help. There we go. Now it's spreading like crazy in the Balkans. In this mirror world, what you do is abnormal. Insanity. Oh, that'll add a lot of severity. If severity is really what I want, not. Makes it hard to cure, too. At this point, I should do a genetic reshuffle if I can. It's 34 DNA points. I don't think I'll get there. Oh well, let's see how I did. So I've tried dating. Second girl. Great girl, I thought. Very nice person. But unfortunately, after I told her I'm long COVID, then I get the whole, well, I want to have kids very soon. Someone in their mid-30s, so I'm not sure how advisable that is anyways at that age, because high risk of birth defects for older mothers, and this person not married or anything, single, so rushing to settle down can end up with someone who's not a good person, and if you find someone soon enough, then there's still the birth defects already an issue at that age. But only 2 biohazards, darn. Which sucks. Like, I mean, biology sucks. It really sucks that people have to, biological clocks, they suck. But this person, anyways, but then I think understands they've got a clock ticking. That's why they're trying to hurry. Where was I? So, kind of after I said that long, first is they don't care about people's careers, and then they kind of went silent for a little while and became, well, people can say whatever, but actions speak louder than words. And then, well, oh, I thought about it, and you being placed to have kids soon. Well, I tried to explain this person. Hard truths. I didn't put it quite that bluntly, but we're in a world that's careening towards mass famines, wars, possibly nuclear wars, mass migrations because of climate change. This is just a fact. I hate it. But CO2 levels keep going up. They're not slowing down fast enough. And that is going to lead to droughts in a lot of the world. That's going to lead to famines. That's going to lead to mass migrations and rising tensions, xenophobia. This is eventually going to spiral into wars. It's going to be bad. Like, this is not something if you've been paying attention to what's going on in the news, in people talking about the future and the internet, or any of these things, viewers, you probably heard this stuff before. This is not new. Unknown origin. This is going to be a harder one. Well, do bacteria. Plain, simple, predictable. So, the pandemic forced me to take, even before I got COVID and ended up with long COVID, it forced me to take a long, hard look at my dream of having kids someday and say, as I saw that governments were horribly mismanaging this thing, maybe we're not going to do so well with climate change. Maybe we're not going to do so well with AI causing a lot of people to become unemployed very quickly. Maybe it's not a good idea to bring kids in this world. I still want and would wanted then and still would like now to have a family someday, but not to father new children, rather to adopt, because people are adopted. They're going to have to suffer whatever the future holds. They're already alive, right? I mean, unless you're going to be like some evil, you know, fucking Nazi euthanizing people. Kids are around now. They're going to be around, and we should do our best to, take care of. Start in Italy. It's not a terrible place to be. Doesn't wait? Italy doesn't have a port. How does Italy not have a port? It's a major, like, shipping center. Maybe not as big as it used to be, but it should definitely have a port. Well, that's lovely. Wait, spore burst. I thought I selected a. I must have screwed this up. Somehow I'm a fungus again. Thought I selected bacteria. What did I mess up? I wasn't paying enough attention. This happens, I guess, more than it should with my long COVID. I guess I'll do transmissions that can cause mutations earlier, because get the symptoms nice and early. That last one took too long, I think. I gotta be quick. I'm in the middle of Europe, so birds, overland spread. A lot of countries with a lot of research capability, and if I can infect them early, then I can knock out the research capability and slow this cure progress sooner. Anyways. An early spore burst wouldn't hurt either. Let's do it. Yep, random infection somewhere. It didn't go too far, unfortunately, but hey, what do you know? I can grab another for 2. Didn't go very far again. Germany. 3. They're cheap, and they have a chance of maybe getting somewhere far away. Maybe. At least helping with the spread. Russia. It's not helping much. Oh, these increase infectivity. Maybe these are the ones that I want for. It's been a while since I played this, so I make mistakes. Let's try this. That's somewhere further away. Okay. Oh, these all slightly increase infectivity. Whatever. I don't want to miss this orange bubble. Let's see how I'm doing for time here. 20 minutes, not bad. Yeah, so I don't mean to be some asshole, and the future's gonna suck, but I tried to be as gentle and sane as possible as person. Obviously, I like this young, not so young, but this woman. I like her. Obviously, less blunt than I put it here to complete strangers, but I cannot change what the future will hold. And even if she wants nothing to do with me, especially after my mentioning this to her, this is something that people should, broadly speaking, be aware of what the future holds, and I hope fewer people have kids. Because it's not just bringing children into a future that might suck. There's a whole moral conversation to be had about that. But, you know, humanity has to continue. It's more the fact that yes, the Earth can feed everyone who's on it right now. People who say there's not enough food to go around or that we have famines due to overpopulation, they're full of shit. Currently. But climate change is going to radically reduce our ability to grow crops. It's going to make it not impossible, but far, 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 far more expensive to feed the global population. We are already not feeding a lot of people. There are people starving to death in our world today when it really wouldn't be that expensive to eliminate hunger. It's going to get way more expensive, and I guarantee you, you know, we're already not dealing with it. We're not going to deal with it when it's massively more expensive. And here's a Brexit event. Something about diplomats relieved? What? Senkaku Island sink. Diplomats relieved. Oh, okay. Guess that's a contested area. Like, so, I don't know where that is. I'm pretty good with geography, but I have no idea where the Senkaku Islands are. Because Italy is an airport, I went for air transmission instead of sea. I'll grab water, too. Also, I already have 2 things that can cause symptoms to mutate. I don't want to overdo this symptoms too early. Especially when things didn't work out too great with the spore things. They didn't infect as far and wide as they thought they would. But let's grab sneezing. This will give a huge boost to infectivity, which is needed. I mean, this is unusually widespread. It's already October 2025, but I'm definitely not going to make it and say under a year, which is ideal if you can make that. Could do fever. It would cause or hemophilia. It would cause a little of that. Well, let's grab it. I'm going to race against the clock here. So allow me to get skin lesions instead of going the rash route to it. Gotta have that infectivity. Alright. There'll be occasional mutations. For now, I'm gonna need medicine. So that rich countries won't. I mean, this is part why it didn't spread great in Europe before. Heat resistance. Actually, it's cold. I'm gonna need more. I'll grab medicine and then cold resistance as soon as I have 15 DNA points. Shouldn't be long. There we go. Since Italy is not a cold country, it's warmer, although it's not actually hot. Game standards, Mediterranean climate. But you know, Greenland, cold. If I can heavily infect Norway and the UK, they're close to Greenland and Iceland. I need cure hardening. There's research is gonna really start picking up now. Genetic hardening. And here come the border shutdowns. Okay. I need another spore burst. Got me to Brazil quicker, I guess. I need some heat resistance there. All right. But yeah, I can't make people realize their dreams, and it's not just because I would like to not be alone. I mean, that's nice, but not nice for the other person. It's because literally, I mean, I always try and look at the big picture. Trust me, I dreamed of insects. A little more expensive than blood transmission, and blood gives hot climates. Yeah, insects still help in Africa, a little in Brazil for sure. South America. Well, you know, it probably doesn't hurt the fact that this person ever, by any chance, changed their mind. It would increase the chances of my not ending up alone because of this terrible disease, long COVID. The fact is that we're going to end up in a world where we can't feed all the mouths. And the more kids people have, and I myself wanted to have kids, as I said, I had to decide that's a bad dream. And if there's ever a cure for long COVID, even if it's somehow early enough that, you know, I could still marry someone young enough to have biological children, I'm not going to do that. It's unethical to bring more kids in the world, given... Alright, there's gotta be massive... Yeah, let's slowly cure more with genetic hardening. I haven't made it to Greenland yet, but I can spore burst them if they're the only... These are all islands, except Central America. No, they're all islands. It's a star infectium. I know I'm gonna have to do these things. What's left? Ah, that's everywhere. Okay, now I can just focus on fighting the cure. Probably want to wait on the check and reshuffle. There's a little more progress. Set speed 2-bit. Yeah. I mean, I think, how can my actions help people? How can I save as many lives as possible? I was in the EMT at one time, and I saved a couple lives in the EMT. Two people are alive in the world that wouldn't otherwise be. Of course, one of them was a homeless person, and unfortunately, given our system is, maybe that guy ended up dying later anyways, because our society doesn't value the lives of the homeless, which is evil and sucks. I mean, homeless people's lives matter. And one was a mother of many children, and one of the people in society might be more likely to value. I can't really say more than that. If I say more, I'd be identifying them, and, you know, if, you know, but, you know, so I'm not saying their age, I'm not saying anything that could be personally identifiable, but, just that at one point I saved the life of a homeless person, and at one point I saved the life of someone who was a mother of many children. There's also people you can't save sometimes too. Again, not going to go into too much details. Total organ failure. Let's grab the lethality now. Quicker, I can destroy this research capacity at this point. The higher my score. Hemorrhagic shock. Some more lethality. Internal hemorrhaging. Some more lethality. But yeah, people bring fewer kids in the world. There will be fewer mouths to feed. It's likely that fewer people will starve to death in the coming climate catastrophe, apocalypse, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I don't want to have kids. I try and convince people that they probably shouldn't have kids either. By the way, the rich, what Marxists would call the bourgeoisie, the billionaire class, they want you to have lots of kids because they don't want the workforce to be too small. They want cheap labor especially if we get to a point where people are starving to death, and that's going to really impact the size of their workforces. Like, there is a vested interest of those with the money and the power in our system, convincing people it's not going to be so bad, and no, you really should have kids and stuff. Dysentery. Sanity will slowly cure progress. July of 2026. Probably not. Probably when you get 2 biohazards again. Oh well. Yep. Two biohazards. Yep. I mean, there's a low score multiplier in casual. Maybe I should just do higher difficulties. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not playing aggressively enough for casual, where it's really hard to lose. On norm or something, this might have resulted in 3 biohazards. Who knows? I did get 3 in the ultimate board game in Fake News, though. And global warming and Nipah virus and smallpox. Interesting. Where was I? So, you know, I hope this woman, I hope she listens, because not only is she older, if she has kids, they could end up with all sorts of birth defects. I mean, Down syndrome is the most famous for older mothers, but so a lot of people with Down syndrome, they're very happy with their lives. But not every disability is something that is easy, or, well, it's not easy to adapt to, but something that, some things are more compatible with happiness than others. Some things can really ruin your life. I mean, long COVID is a disability. It is not something that's easy to be happy with. Being in pain all the time because your muscles constantly ache and you get headaches all the time, and being exhausted all the time, having muscle weakness, fatigue, disturbed sleep, memory issues, difficulty focusing, these things are not compatible with happiness. This is a disability I would wish not on my worst enemy. There are some nastier birth defects out there. Stuff like spinal defect, things are unqualified negatives. Older mothers, higher risk of disabilities. Older fathers, too, by the way. People always focus on the maternal age, but research has shown that people who father children at older ages, because it makes sense, the genetic material sperm are generated throughout the life. Ones that older fathers generate, their sperm are likely to carry mutations. So, older fathers also have a higher chance of fathering children with birth defects. Older people should probably not be having biological kids. They want to have kids. Kids are precious. I encourage it. Adopt. I encourage adoption, not, you get what I'm saying, hopefully. I tried to explain it to this girl. It would be nice if people listened. It'd be nice if she listened in particular, because I like her, and who knows, maybe, you know, it hurts to get shut down so often, even before you can date someone, just because they find you have long COVID and then they realize you're too sick to work, so you won't be in a career position to financially support children. And, you know, at my age, people are rushing to have kids before they're too old. Although, really, the risks are already, it's done. It's already too late for a lot of people. They're, without rushing to possibly marrying someone who's a piece of shit. Like, there are nasty people out there. My father was one of them, according to my mother anyways. I don't know the full story, but from what I saw and heard, he's a jackass. Like, what I saw of his behavior growing up before my parents got divorced. And yeah, I mean, they were not good for each other, my parents. They brought out the worst in each other. So, things like that happen when people rush because of their biological clock, which was a factor in my own parents' biological clocks. Let's do Golden Age. A theoretically more positive, there we go, bacteria for sure this time. You can see this to confirm. Positive, humanity is all rich. and that means more research capacity and better medicine. And I'm still going to be trying to, yeah, ruin that. It's kind of evil in a way, but star in Egypt, it doesn't matter that much anymore. Heck with it, I'll do normal. Maybe the extra score multiplier will help. Egypt. Egypt is, well, not poor in this version, but still hot and arid. You would expect, in fact, Sudan is still poor. They're still poor countries, even though it's supposed to be a golden age. India is rich. Kazakhstan is not poor. Well, East Africa is still poor. Why are all the poor countries in Africa? This strikes me as some serious bias, of course. Brazil is rich here. I guess it's just they're all doing a certain amount better, but some countries in Africa are so darn poor. Morocco is rich here. Well, still haven't caused a second infection. There we go. It took a little while. RNG was not in my favor. Budget airplanes, that means plan to remove seats for passengers. Yeah, airplanes to be more crowded. Air travel's easier way to spread. And ships are sterilizing, so I'm getting punished if I try and spread by sea and reward if I try and spread by air. RAM number generator has kind of decided a little bit of my strategy already. Events like that you gotta respond to. Let's do air transmission. And normal, you gotta be a little more careful about symptoms too early because you get noticed easier than on casual. Bacterial resilience or cold resistance. Let's do resilience because it protects against all climates. And I'm still struggling to spread enough in Egypt. So a little bit of climate protection and the ability to spread by air. Dust particles specifically. So indoor mostly. Planes though, lots of dust. Lots of dust in planes. Can afford livestock transmission now. Let's do that. I can devolve the first couple of symptoms and that'll actually be a source of DNA points. Aliens quit not interested in Earth, says writer. Maybe. Livestock 2. Usually the second level things are much better than the first, so better than going for urban for rats. Man freed after 12 years stuck in hole. Yeah, there's a lot of Minecraft references in this game, which I think that's supposed to be a Minecraft reference. I'm gonna stagnate at 13 points for a while. Okay, I'll do rodents. It'll help urban environments already good at rural. Being all rounder can be better than just playing to your strengths sometimes. Most expensive movie ever. Cost too much, you think? Script approved for episode 7, Mickey. This was before Star Wars, the whole new series, so yeah. They're making fun of the idea there'd be a new Star Wars, and of course there was a new Star Wars because rash symptom mutated. Let's devolve that for some DNA points, which I will put into sweet livestock tube transmission soon-ish. I reach Japan. They're urban. Maybe I want rodents too. Let's see how the DNA points fall if I quickly shoot up a bunch. Then rodents too. If it's just a little, I just barely reach 15. Then I want livestock too. I'm trapped in the news bar. Yeah, it's not going right up to... I'll just grab livestock too. Ranchers demand paywall. At this point, I would be at 17, so I still wouldn't have roads too. Now I would get it. Yeah, that wasn't actually that long a wait. There's a lot of the richer countries are urban, so I will want rodents too eventually here. UK, urban country. Because urbanization, of course, promotes wealth. This is less pronounced in the Golden Age scenario. Countries in Africa didn't suddenly become urban, even though they suddenly became wealthy here. Or less poor. Brazil and stuff, it's still a rural country. So livestock was better than normal would be. Oh. Mosquitoes. Yeah, let's grab that. Going hard on the mutation generating stuff. It'll help me later. Early on, symptoms are actually positive that they mutate if I develop them right away. Haven't even been noticed yet. Sorry, 2026. Still not spreading fast enough. It's almost time to just start evolving symptoms because I gotta put the... You know what? I probably need medicine. Drug resistance because ambox are probably really widespread in this golden age. And not overused either. Which is a problem in many countries. The ambox are available, but they're used so much that ambox resistance. People don't take the full course and they're over prescribed for things that aren't even bacterial. Yeah, I not only studied viruses, but studied under a world expert in like pandemics and similar risks like that to society. At one point, took a class under someone who's world-renowned expert. And if I say any more, again, I try not to be identifiable online because there's creeps out there who would love to send me death threats, and no, thank you. 52, and try to keep these videos not much more than an hour, hour and 15, as long as possible. Sometimes they go up to an hour and a half. Keep it. It's easier to do short with this game. This is taking too long though. This run here, and I'd like to get done. It's taking too long, real and game time. I'm gonna start saving up points for symptoms. It's been taking way too long. It's spread like crazy in Africa because it's very rural and poor, which does reinforce my belief it's probably drug resistance. All right, coughing, sneezing. Can't wait any longer. Gotta start spreading. New minor disease not only causes sneezing at this point, so no one should be too concerned just yet. Drug resistance 2 might be necessary in this particular scenario, so I'll save up for that. So it'll be more expensive if I wait. And there might be a delay in response time. Heavy flooding in Finland damaged their biotech industry, as well as probably their ability to respond to... Didn't actually damage 84 dead, that's nothing. And it doesn't see any destroyed research capacity there. Oh well. Of course, that can be... The way the game counts deaths, that can be misattributed to disease. Heavy flooding. As if I killed 84. No, I haven't. The flooding did. But anyways, pneumonia. Still trying to stay under the radar for a little bit. Can't do that much longer. Let's grab genetic hardening 1. I'll need that in this golden age because research capacity is probably massively increased. American president taken out? Oh, that's not good. I need to increase infectivity. This is going to make this much higher profile. The most powerful man on Earth got sick with this disease. I need to spread faster. Okay. Can't wait any longer. Fever, skin lesions. I want to grab necrosis. I need to start doing real damage. First death from fever, probably. And a cure work has started. Might mutate necrosis or something. Nope. Necrosis gives a massive boost in effectivity, so of course if I don't make it to Greenland I'm gonna be in trouble. Let's grab genetic hardening too, because they are doing cure research. I'm just gonna start shutting down ports soon with the mine death toll. Crisis is not fun to have, obviously. Alright, I'm gonna need water transmission because most of the places left are ports only. Great, let's ships be infected again? Oh yeah, that's right, you can't spread at all without... Actually, I should have evolved water transmission way sooner than... Shoot. That's why I wasn't spreading by sea. Water 2. Really got to reach the remaining islands. Cuba and Greenland. Oh shoot, Cuba shut down its ports. Oof. That might mean I can't infect them. I'm not sure any boats are going to go there now. I may have already lost. Greenland hasn't been infected either. Lovely. Not sure anything I do can win me this now. Oh. Hard is harder. I mean, normal is harder. I said hard. This is not hard. This is normal. Guess I failed this run. Bad RNG in the islands are... I mean, many people start in Greenland just because it's so hard to infect. Yeah, I'm not going to reach these last 2 islands. I've already lost. Oh well. Call it when I see it. Wow. So yeah. Share a little about myself, my life, my troubles dating. It sucks. I mean, a lot of things in my life suck. Having long COVID and being in a situation where it's exceedingly hard to date. And it wasn't easy for me before then because of my difficult upbringing, family situation. Be someone who maybe wasn't blessed with the highest charisma levels. I mean, there's a certain genetic component to how charismatic people are. Dating wasn't easiest to begin with, but now, you know, I had some successes, but now it's become almost impossible. Almost. I dated a couple people, 2, since I've had long COVID in total, over a 4-year time period. That's a really low number, obviously, to date for any length of time. But anyways, it's also very cold here. The heat is out. Well, today's been a warmer day, but I'll also bundle up so I don't feel as cold right this second. Family members staying with, money is really tight because, well, capitalism, people don't get paid as much as they should based on what they produce. His family members gotten screwed also by like interest rates and mortgage and credit cards, and yeah, it's expensive to be poor, and I grew up poor. I mean, it sucks. So yeah, there's a lot of things. You learn a little bit about my life. I'm sure some of you already realized I'm a leftist, though not a Marxist-Leninist. Um, let's see. And part of it, my own experiences have shown me the lies that underlie the system. And the capitalism is a fucked up system. Uh, what else? Some of you see me try and fail to get 3 biohazards in any of these scenarios. I've done it in the past, as you could see, because, I mean, all my achievements and stuff were carried over. I actually got all these in a separate computer, but I had the game installed to external USB drive, so I just copied it over and I kept the achievements, I think, or maybe they were saved in the cloud, I don't know. So I've done it before. I've even done it since long COVID, although it's been harder. I've been playing this game on and off for a long time. Check Plague Out Inc. out if you haven't. It's a decent game. I'm sure it's on sale sometimes. Is there any deal? I think we'll show you price history and you can see what the typical sale prices are and wait for the next sale that is relative to what it is. You know, get it on sale or get it on full price. I don't know. Hope you folks enjoyed the video. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves. And may you always find guidance to lead you home. Until next time, I wish you all the best. Adieu, and best luck.